All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
We want to start out by giving all praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh,
Yahweh, by
Hashem,
Hashem,
Yahushua,
Yahushua, by
Hashem,
Hashem,
Rakakadash.
Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to all the Archimedes pushing word of sincerity and the truth. It's the brothers here from Great Millstone, Atlanta. Shalom, shalom. Yeah, it's the end of January, January 31st. Us brothers, we're gonna do a January recap, Lord willing. We'll start doing recaps, monthly or maybe quarter recaps, depending on how aggressive, these months is. But January was damn near like a whole year itself, man.
Yeah, kind of.
January accumulated. That was or this month, which is damn near a thing of the past. But January this month has been a month of heavy prophecies. Which we'll have a list of things that occurred. And brothers that's been watching, they are of course familiar, but it's always good to keep shining light on these different situations and circumstances that's taking place globally, man. This is the only thing that really matters. Not the newest Jordan release dates, the fucking newest club openings or the bars and the entertainment realm what celebrities is doing, where they eating at and where they traveling and partying. The politics, man, global policy, worldwide events, disasters, natural climate, political, like I said, policy takes place, energy. All those things are circled or intertwined with what we know as the news, which the news stands for, if I'm not mistaken. People say the acronym Northeast, West, and South, but it's actually, look up news, because it's entertainment, sports. I think the W is world events, and the N is something too. But the news is what's important, and through the spirit of Yahweh Shema Rashad, the Lord told us to proclaim this word through the four winds. So we're like a news, like spiritual news anchors. All right, what you got?
It says,
notable events, I think.
yeah, notable events, weather and sport.
Notable events, which is the N and the E, weather, and sports. Which in the sports realm, which that's news. Kobe Bryant himself got, which a lot of, I was gonna say he died, but I listened to a couple of, news anchors or whatnot, and they were speaking about how he got killed. A lot of people were saying killed, not saying that that's the case of him being a sacrifice. It's a possibility, but they didn't just chunk it up to him just dying. They saying it like, yeah, Kobe Bryant got killed. He got killed, this, that, and the other. But that's an extremely big thing. One of the top athletes of our time, dying in a helicopter crash, and that, it might seem like a small thing to some, but when you think of the optics of that put a lot of people in shock, man.
Yeah,
that put
the world.
That put the world in shock, man. He's, one of the greatest, bar none. That goes without being said. He's one of the greatest athletes. And he was projected. His net worth was projected at damn near $1 billion, man. He was gonna be a billionaire before he died.
Yeah, kind of.
Definitely. He died at the age of 41. He had hella deals. We don't even have to go through all the things that he was endorsed, and he was making money, and he was a global idol. He was looked at. Which of course we don't idolize him. He's just a man. But he was a global idol, and the scriptures speak about how the stars shall fall from heaven. You get that. What's that? Matthew the 24th chapter. It says that, which the word celebrity goes into the word celeste when you look it up, and it represents pertaining to the bodies of the heavens. All right, and in this layout, as we know, you have commoners, you have the poor, you have the middle class, and you have the super rich, which are the so-called celebrities in our time. All right, whenever you're on mainstream, and you have an extreme fan base, you're basically a celebrity. You make money from walkthroughs or every little thing you touch, from interviews to shows, or whatever, wherever your face is printed upon, you getting a big bucks for it. So the Lord, through prophecies, He said these individuals that you have a great liking to, which is known as the stars, these individuals are going to drop dead, man. He's not the only one. And like Apostle R said, of course he's in the spirit world. You know, he knows he's an Israelite now. He's on the side of the elect and the brothers that's pushing the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, these events were foretold to happen. You know, of these big guys. You know, these big celebrities or these so-called global icons actually falling. And also these on the left hand side, Esau, these Edomites, these rich elite billionaires getting caught up in all these different scandals, which really from the end of January 19 pushing forward to here January 2020 has been a lot of stuff. They were speaking about the what's this guy Weinstein of the royal family. He got caught up in sex trafficking charges, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that the lady, I don't recall her name, but you could look it up, of course. She spoke about, and she has pictures of them two together, and she was basically abducted into that lifestyle. And you had the other guy that got killed in prison. What was the billionaire name? If I'm
it started with an E.
Epstein. Epstein. He got killed in prison. And he was involved in sex trafficking. If I'm not mistaken, those two were close buddies, man. They had strong relations with each other, and a slew of other people. I think he was cool with Donald Trump. He was cool with a lot of people, man. You know, that's really going into last year, but 2019, 2020, it's been extremely hot. That transition. And Apostle Har has been coining these years, which Jake like, oh man, the year of prophecy again. Why Apostle Har can't find something new? Why I can't be? Hey, we in the year of prophecy, man. Even if we named, through the Spirit, the Apostle Har named next year the year of prophecy. Every year is the year of prophecy. Exactly. That's the heavy thing about it.
Exactly.
Because the Lord said in Revelation 19, the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. And his testimonies are breathing, living, and we see them transpire through the world around us. All right? You got something?
Yeah, I got that Matthew 24.
Okay.
This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 29. It says, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light.
And what does it mean when the sun is darkened? Does that mean it's going to be eclipse? Which, hey, that's been going on. Even if it does mean that, which partially that's a recognizable and a very extreme sign. Eclipses, which they had eclipses, blood moons, all these different moons and events that go on with the bodies of heaven. Those tell extreme stories, man. That tells the stories of what's to come to pass. That's why you have stargazers, what the ancient world would call monthly prognosticators, and that's part of the science in the science and technology. They have these supersized $100,000 damn near $1 million telescopes and high power equipment that's funded federally through the government, and they just watch the heavens. That's why Donald Trump he created a new the Space Force, man. Why would you have a Space Force, which is another branch of the military? The military is used for combat. All right. You have the Air Force. You have the Marines. You have the Navy. I know I'm missing but those are some of the main bodies. You have even basically the cyber tech aspect of the military that deals with what do they call it? Where individuals break into hackers that deal with hackers. That's war. That's a form of war. And then you have now, which is the Space Force, that's dealing with the war in the heavens, man. Because they understand Yahushua, and it's been all getting in the spirit of chariot sightings and UFOs. The DC had released that they have full proof evidence of chariots or so-called UFOs, man. As well as major sightings all over the world. The numbers, which is so much news that goes out, you sometimes forget, or you sometimes overlook, or don't even have the time to look at everything. But chariot sightings are still going up. Those numbers are still going up, man.
Yeah.
See, that's why Donald Trump put, which when you create these branches of the military, you put billions of dollars into them. You think you're going to put billions of dollars into something that doesn't work out? When first off, how much did he need for that wall? Look that up.
Yeah,
how much he needed for that wall, which he didn't get accomplished. Constructing that wall costs a big amount of money. a large lump sum of money, which he wasn't able to retrieve, and he was going as far as shutting down the whole government for a span of time to retrieve that money, which he still wasn't able to accomplish. It was basically a fluke, you know, and for him to, you know, put this much money, you know, on the budget, which is not, of course, like his personal money, but he's the president of the United States. You know, he deals with checks and balances. You know, he puts in place, he helps puts in place what needs to be put as far as spending and as far as you know, controlling resources goes. And for him to put that much money in the heavens, that tells that these individuals, they see things, man. They see things, and they're well aware of the things that the general commoners or you know, the public are not aware of. You got that?
Yeah. It said he estimated the cost to be just $8 billion to build the wall.
So it's $8 billion to build that wall.
But not including the billions of dollars that they're putting into the military.
And more than likely, which is just a side note, they was going to use Mexicans to build that wall too.
Yeah.
Here it is. You got which they had this border patrol with the chick, the Latin chick they was making fun of or whatnot. You know, she went viral. She actually was on like Vox or Vice News or whatnot. She did a little, you know, thing, you know. But that was you know, Issachar, which I'm speaking about. You know how they'll use Jake to build the wall, but it never got accomplished. You see, but for them to actually put this money towards, you know, the Space Force, that tells a lot. And you know, I want to rewind back and go into the stars of heaven because that's still important. But it's like I said, it's so much stuff that when you're dealing in terms of news, covering all of it in you know, segment of time, maybe a 30-40 minute video, it's not even enough time, man.
It's not enough time.
Because we got to rewind back, and when you deal with news, you have to see how things transpired and how it builds up. It's a picture, man. The Lord paints pictures through news. All these different things that seem like random anarchy that goes on. Wildfire here in Australia, shooting of this celebrity, or you know,
wildfires in California.
Yeah, wildfires in California,
earthquakes in
Puerto Rico, all these different things. Something going on in Malaysia, something going on in Indonesia, something going on in Madagascar. You just like, damn. It seems, you know, you on a tailspin, you know. But us brothers in the know, we be like, damn, the Lord, he etching stuff, you know, like when you see an artist on a canvas. When you see how like true artists paint, you know, which you got different aspects of art, but when you first see how different artists paint, you don't know, you know, where he's going with it until the painting is fully set in. You know, you're like, oh dang, you know, I would have never, you know, and when you paint, you know, when you from a simple point, you know, Jake that don't know how to paint or draw, you know, you're gonna try to draw it figuratively, you're gonna try to draw a circle, and you're gonna try to draw the body, you know. Them painters, they do it totally different.
Yeah.
They might etch a little something here, etch a little something here, put them different colors, and they got a beautiful picture. You like, damn, man, that's art, you know.
That's right.
And that's what the Lord is doing, man. You got that slot.
It says Matthew 24:29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light.
Yeah, and like we said, it's eclipses, and it also goes into how the sun and the moon in the scriptures represents the knowledge and understanding. All right. So when the sun and the moon is darkened, that means a lot of people are not in the know. A lot of people do not know what's going on in these times now. You know, but the ones that's in the know, the ones that's actually looking at the news, and the ones that's truly in the know, who has a little, you know, has the sun and the moon illuminating to a certain degree, they're speaking about this place falling.
Yeah.
You know, alternative media, which is true news. That shit that we watch is general news. When you deal with really extreme news and projecting, you know, big boy falls and things of that nature, stuff that the news don't want to scare you on, you go to alternative news.
Yeah.
You know, these Dabu 77s, these what's this? Blacklisted News.
Oh yeah, Blacklisted.
You have AMTV. You know, you have what's this guy? It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of it right now. But Apostle Harry always speaks on them. I haven't watched them for a while, but you have a lot of people. Back in the day, you would have like Hawkeye Davis that would go into a lot of events. And there's so many alternative news that you can't even keep up with them. Of course, Alex Jones, Gerald Celente, that's who I was thinking about. Gerald Celente. and they'll go into the stock market. They'll go into the gold, silver. They'll go into the prices of commodities and shares. They'll go into bonds. They'll go into resources. They'll go into projection. And show how this place is falling. And let's not even get on it in the terms of the market as far as stores closing.
Oh yeah.
We're in the new age, man. We're in the age really where this chip and this new cyber system is being implemented to the point that say for instance this thing goes on for another 10, 15 years, 20 years, which Lord willing it don't through the Spirit, we don't believe it will. Say for instance this goes on, I'm just giving numbers, 30 years. Man, it'll be like a goddamn something on sci-fi, man.
Yeah.
Something that you watch on one of these TV shows that you think is 150 to 300 plus years. You like, damn, because you see it going on now. You like, man, matter of fact, that's going on right now, man.
Yeah.
You put a little bit more time on here, you already got autonomous vehicles. You already have monetization, which they call Aurelian governments. Or surveillance cameras always monitoring us through audio. You already have all these things that build the algorithms. You already have these different cities and states aligning everything for the new world order, man.
It's already here today.
It's already here today. It's alive and kicking. And we're just breathing and disposing something, ancient book that's putting out the modern references and how these things are to transit or transpire. You could keep going.
It says, and the stars shall fall from heaven.
And the stars shall fall from heaven. Kobe Bryant was a superstar, man. He was great. I was watching a couple things on him. I'm saying according to the world's standard. Because at the end of the day, he was just a nigga that could put a ball in the hoop. He was just what we know as a gladiator. You had some badass gladiators back then. You had Spartacus, you had Crixus, and they had trophies of Spartacus. They would have sculptures where they would engrave and they would make idols out of Spartacus. And they're not doing the same thing now with Kobe Bryant. They were talking about changing the NBA logo and putting his face on there.
Yeah, they'll put a statue. Pretty sure they'll put a statue in front of the LA arena.
All throughout these cities, they illuminate in the purple and yellow lights. I'm pretty sure it's going buck wild out there in LA. You had Ice Cube and Snoop Dogg speaking about the situation that how the LA took a hit, losing Kobe Bryant. You probably asked people want to commit suicide, man. They was talking about retiring his jersey number. So the stars are falling, man. And then they like, damn, we already lost so and so.
Nipsey.
We already lost Nipsey. We already lost Juice WRLD. Who's niggas like who's next?
Right.
A lot of these jakes is like, yo, who's next? They're getting humbled. These proud niggas that feel like they be talking that untouchable shit. Because what does it say? That the daughters of music shall be brought low.
Yeah.
Which that represents the content, but it's gonna go into the spirit too, the vibration. The vibration of that haughty big boy shit. These jakes be talking, they're losing that image.
Exactly.
The
Lord basically showing them that they can be touched.
They showing they can be touched. Keep going.
It says, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken.
And the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. The powers represent your politicians, your leaders, the ones that you rely on for strength and dependence. And they're showing themselves to be shooken. Iran, they felt shook after that. After Soleimani, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Soleimani, after he got killed, you don't think that they felt a sense of trembling? And they were aggressive to go to war. Death to America was ringing in each and every one of those Iranians' thoughts, even unto this point now, man. When they think about America, they ain't worried about Switzerland, man. They're not worried about Thailand or Hungary. They're not worried about goddamn Nova Scotia.
Right.
Just we got the world map. If we go through list, they ain't worried about none of these. Fucking Senegal.
They worried about America.
They're worried about America, and they want to take Trump out. And why is Trump so worried about Iran?
Exactly.
Because America has invaded 90+% of the world, and that's one of the major players, one of the highest oil reserve countries. think it's definitely the top 10. You know, and it's not taking in what's the word they call it. It doesn't have a globalized, if I'm not mistaken, globalized banking in their facility. They don't deal and function off of the Federal Reserve currency. The same shit where the Iraqi president, you had Saddam Hussein, you had Bin Laden, and you had this other guy in Libya, Muammar Gaddafi. The reason why those three got killed because centralized banking and they had oil reserves. All that Middle East, which Libya is basically in that area too, man. You know, Middle East, Afghanistan, that area, that's a hot pot.
Mm-hmm.
And the scriptures speak about that. That's known as the area of Armageddon, man.
Yeah.
You know, the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, the valley of the Most High's judgment. And those Iranians, you know, they'll goddamn eat porridge every day if they could get back at America and put their money and invest towards missiles to blow this place to hell.
Yeah, they'll blow their own self up.
They'll go kamikaze style.
Yeah.
You know? And you had a lot of Jakes here that was on this guy Soleimani's side, man.
Mm-hmm.
They made that comment killing Soleimani they had to hit out on Trump.
Yeah.
They put the big boy numbers on Trump.
How much they put on his head?
I forget. You could look it up. It'd be so many numbers nowadays. You know, you're like, man, it's a lot of numbers, man.
I think it was 10 million, if I'm not mistaken.
And then George Lopez said, "Well, I do it for 5 or something like that." And people was in an uproar. You had a fucking coon that came out the woodworks, slithering through, talking shit about George Lopez. You remember that, Jake?
Yeah.
With the MAGA hat, looking simple as hell. You know, but that's the spirit of the times we're living in. You had T.I. speaking about how Soleimani, death was basically justice on his half. And then you had the news big this guy up a couple of years back. I'm talking about Soleimani. They gave a tribute to him. United States News, whether NBC or CNN, one of them, they was talking well on his behalf, man. You know, so who's the real enemy?
I got it here.
How much was it?
It says a eulogist speaking at the Iranian general Qasem Soleimani's funeral reportedly told the crowd that if each of the country's 80 million citizens contributed $1, there would be an $80 million reward for anyone who brings Trump's head.
Yeah, and George Lopez said he'll do it for less than that.
He said he'll do it for half.
He'll do it for half. You know? And a lot of people would. Man, Trump is not liked here, man.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, we're looked at as the minority, so it's like, well, you speaking on behalf of 300 million people, you know, it might just be a small percentage of y'all. You have a lot of people that do embrace Trump because this is a cracker-based society.
Yeah.
We agree with that.
God.
But this place is divided, man. It's divided asunder, man.
Even some of the people who actually voted for Trump is now against him.
Yeah. Because they seeing how he's a goddamn terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
They basically got a terrorist in the White House, and that's why he got impeached.
Yeah.
You don't get impeached unless you a goddamn super criminal.
Mm-hmm.
You in that White House up to no good. You get more wickeder in the White House. Like, what the hell is this guy doing, man?
And it just came out that they voted to keep him in office.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
keep him in office.
Yeah.
That's the type of guy we need in office. Somebody that's gonna push the button for the littlest thing, man.
Yeah, because he's bringing this place down.
Yeah. You got some something else?
It was still some more in this too.
Okay.
This is verse 30. It says, "And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven,
Mm-hmm.
and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory."
Yeah, and it's the time where the tribes are coming together to prophesy against this great beast, this whole America. You know, and it's becoming more and more evident that this place is wicked, man.
Mm-hmm.
How much more evidence do you need? It's all kind of things that go into surveillance of this place. This place spying on you constantly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're smart. Anything that's smart, it ain't smart for your behalf. It's smart to keep an eye on you at all times.
Yeah, that's why even if you commit just like here in Atlanta, you know, the police put out, you know, in the metro Atlanta area, that they're no longer going to chase, car chase criminals around the city.
No more pursuit.
It's like they don't have to because it's cameras set up already.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so even if you do get away, they got your face, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's everywhere, man. 90% of criminals, at least 90% of criminals get caught just off surveillance, man, video footage. From whether it's people got the cameras on their doorbells now.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Around their house. You know.
Yeah, being a criminal is starting to become a thing of the past. But just a recap, which we were saying, this year, major things, of course, the coronavirus, which the brother going to the death of Soleimani, Kobe Bryant. Those were three major things that
the doomsday
and the doomsday clock. And you had, of course, earthquakes, you had wildfires, you had all kind of things of that nature, you know, popping up. And that's as far as, you know, the news goes. As far as global news, that's been a big scare to you know, the public. But I have also something I wanted to go through. Just a couple of case by case things that's been published today, and I think yesterday. But it says, just reading off the top, exponential, because this is the end. This is the end of January. The month of January, and we're gonna read the status, because even though the coronavirus, you can just say the coronavirus popped up, but case by case, how this thing has been growing, it's aggressive. It's not looked at like it's. I think you have 4 classes and it's class 3, and it's really class 4 now because it's a global emergency. Even though it's not a pandemic, this thing is not. It's not trying to be stopped.
Yeah, the World Health Organization deemed it a global. It's like an epidemic almost.
Yeah, it's basically an epidemic, and it could be man-made. Which means, my personal belief, I believe it's man-made. But you know, that's a opinion. That's not really a fact. You know, I have no infallible proof. I'm just saying, if I lean towards anything, you know, but so be it. But anyways, I want to okay. I wanted to read this a little bit. It says exponential growth rate. The number of confirmed coronavirus cases is 236 times higher than it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so this thing is growing fast. You know, it's higher than it was 2 weeks ago. 236 times higher. And in the United States, it's becoming scary. All right? Chicago, LA, all these different places. And you might as well, you know, to you American citizens, get your face mask ready, man, because you're gonna be walking around. You know, you're gonna need a fucking box, you know, per week, man.
They selling out.
Yeah, they already selling out. I mean, I should have invested in that. You know, got some, you know, face masks, started selling them for the low. You know, made a goddamn profit, man.
God.
You know, and this is the same stuff with through the spirit. We always talk about getting into them herbs, man, getting your immune system straightened out, because you know, blow for blow, this devil is coming with the pain, or the Most High's coming with the pain, and he, you know, you have to be on a certain level so you can endure these hits. But I'm not gonna read this whole thing. I'm just gonna jump down. It says, another article: potential cases of coronavirus are starting to pop up literally all over the United States. You see, I'm not gonna go into it. This is just, you know, caps. I did a lesson on this article the other day. It says demand for prepping properties is soaring as more people seek refuge from the nightmare that is coming to America. Yeah, and when you reading this article, it speaks about how these rich individuals, they're leaving the outskirts of New York. The city of New York is a haven for that's what they call cheap real estate, man. You invest in comedy clubs, or you invest in, you know, a real estate. You have the money and the means to invest in real estate. You're gonna cap. You know, New York and California, LA, those are some of the highest, you know, places to actually, you know, dwell in. That's why a lot of people move here to Atlanta. Yeah, you know, the apartment that we stay in, we might have to pay double, you know, in New York. Yeah, but they're leaving. They're getting the hell out of New York, and they're putting their money to rural areas. So why they getting out from the city? Why they running out of the city? because these different viruses and these sicknesses, they're gonna come to the cheap places at airports. All these different airports, they don't really have too many airports, if I'm not mistaken, in the rural areas. They may have them, but you got to
It's
think
not as big.
it's not as big, and it's not as much people coming in and out.
There's not much traffic.
Less traffic, and when you're in rural areas, you can travel, but for the most part, people live in rural areas so they can live off the land. All right, you have abundance of you buy acres. You don't buy, these little square foot boxes, that you could just put hella shoes and that's what Jake do. Jake could get them a high rise. They'll get them a condo, put hella shoes and clothes in it, and they ain't got shit stockpiled.
Yeah.
These individuals, they need acres. They need a large portion where they could work, man. They could work to live outside of the government because they see something big that's finna pop, man.
Yeah.
And they want to be prepared at all costs. And you think it's your local citizen that's making $23,000 a year? No, we talking about individuals that gross. Individuals that have fiscal years that run. You have your business companies that have your fiscal year, which you have your presidents and your CEOs, which they make great bank of your different companies. It's really their fiscal year. You see, and these individuals that have that, I'm not, talking about, multi-millionaires and things of that nature. They're putting their money on the outskirts, and like I said, it's not just canned goods. They build an underground.
Underground bunker.
Underground
$1
bunkers.
million underground bunker.
And that's the advantage of being rich.
Yeah.
And that's why the scriptures speak against Esau, because Esau set us up to die, man.
Yeah.
We're set up in the most vulnerable parts of the world. These different big boy buildings and things of that nature, where scripture says, you can get that Isaiah, if I'm not mistaken, the 5th chapter is a curse to live house to house, man. This is a curse. You die quicker in buildings. Because we live building to building, you die quicker. It's not as it's less oxygenated. The AC system, how it's circulating, how it's your heating and air systems is all congested in one. It works, from a building standpoint, but it's not as tended to as a personalized home. All right, being on the outside, and then like I said, you could have flowers. A lot of people have flowers that have certain things, plant-based, that actually feeds the environment they're living in. Now, like I said, then Esau has the money where he could, all right, I'm about to put $25 million underground.
Yeah.
All right, because I see what's going on. These crackers watch. When you see all these news, they ain't your regular niggas, your hood niggas with the pistol. You don't see hood niggas with the pistol just watching the news, man.
You don't.
It's the ones that's inside. What they call it, insider trading.
Insiders.
Which they trade through their they're known as a secret society, and they trade through their think tanks. They have a tank of Edomites that get together and they politic. Well, that's why Jake call it politicking now, but Jake ain't politicking. They talking shit.
Yeah.
When Esau politics, they talk about big boy business, man.
Yeah.
Like I said before, news. So you can get that.
This is Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 8. Woe unto them that join house to house, that lay field to field, till there be no place, that they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth.
Yeah, and it's a curse to live house to house, because like I said, when you're congested, and it even says, "Cursed shall thou be in the city." Cursed shall thou be in the field. The cities are known as cursed areas, man. They're a curse.
Yeah.
To be jumbled up and funneled up, and they made it where everybody attracts to the cities.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to live in a city? If you want, most Jakes don't be like, man, I'm finna get some money and I'm finna go get me a big ass house in a rural area away from everybody. Nah, most people want to. They want to be amongst everybody, because you got the clubs, you got debauchery within the city that a lot of people want to get their hands into, man. But you had any?
There was some more on this, Isaiah.
Okay.
It says, in my ears said the Lord of hosts, of a truth, many houses shall be desolate, even great and fair without inhabitant.
Yeah, a lot of these houses are gonna be desolate. Esau's gonna come in with a full assault to take you out of those houses and make sure that you stay in. That's why when there's quarantining a building is easy, man.
Yeah.
You know, first off, everybody has to come, especially these high rises where they have the elevators and everybody have to come down. Look, they could take that whole front door. You ain't getting nowhere.
Shit.
You don't have access to your car, no nothing.
For Eastside, quarantine the metro area is easy.
Quarantine the metro area is easy. Quarantining all these cities is easy, and they're starting to put these global They're gonna start putting these global quarantines out. Wuhan, China. Look, Wuhan, China. Them streets is empty.
Yeah.
They showed up before and after. When you look at Wuhan, there's nobody out there, and that's a busy city. They're actually, pretty recognized in China. It's not like just a regular city. They have Wuhan has had a low level of status. But you guys,
I got some. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12. I started 3. It says, "In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves."
Yeah. So who is the ones that keep the house? Esau, and he's in a state of fear. He's not gonna say, "Yeah, I'm scared." This whole thing, with Trump, and these different politicians, they have to make crazy decisions at this point, man.
Rational decisions.
They have to make
rationally
irrational decisions. With pushing a nuclear button is a rationally irrational decision.
Yeah.
But it has to be done. Because the Lord is the major chess player, and He wants these heads to collide. Keep going.
It says, "And the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few.
Yeah, and that's your work. That's your work. Being cut, man.
Yeah.
Pay cuts. Which really, what we work for and what we receive doesn't equate any goddamn way. Because the scriptures speak about mixed bags, and you're not supposed to taint the bag of the man that's employed unto you. And Esau has tainted the bags through mass producing these Federal Reserve notes and changing the intrinsic value of it, which it has no intrinsic value. It's basically intrinsically worthless. You keep going.
It says, "And the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out
all
the
these
windows."
Stores closing down, these big boy stores, Kmart, these shopping centers, Sears, they hold a lot of people in them.
Yeah.
But everything is starting to become online trading now. Keep going.
"And those that look out the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets."
Yeah, and when you look out the window and it's darkened, that means you can only see from your place. And really, everybody from their place is really their spirit. You can only lean onto your spirit for understanding. When these phones is cut off, this is a dark window.
Yeah.
You can't see nothing. If you can't do nothing on this, what you got to rely on? Yourself. And these people don't have a level of self-reliance to actually stand and sustain the test of time. Keep going.
It says, "When the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird."
Yeah, the grinding is low. When the work is low, the scripture says he shall rise up at the voice of the bird. Keep going.
"And all the daughters of music shall be brought low."
And the daughters of music shall be brought low. All right, and we seen the daughters of music being brought low. That goes without even being said. Your musicians, your artists, they're in a state of lowliness.
Yeah, it's really kind of like a bad time to be an artist, man. People dying left and right.
Yeah, and look at this opioid crisis.
Yeah, you got the opioid. We ain't even mentioned the opioid crisis yet.
Opioid crisis. How all these kids are addicted to these opioids, and you had this female singer. She was pretty popular. She had a little following. She died from mixing fentanyl with alcohol, man.
Yeah.
Overdose. If I'm not mistaken, that was either last year or
that was the end of last year.
Yeah, the end of last year.
Mistaken.
Yeah, a little light skin joint.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? That's you had anything else? That's really all we have for you, brothers. Just a January 2020 recap. Lord willing, you brothers will edify. We're gonna end it by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom.
Shalom.